Presenting from Colorado State University, Fargreen.
Your new judges.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming here today. My name is Chang Chen, and with me today is Hanmei Telang, my business partner at Fargreen, and we are here to solve the problem of pollution, poverty, both with one profitable business. We sell premium branded edible mushrooms that are locally grown from rice straw, a medium which is currently considered as waste and being burned openly in Vietnam. Now, as many of you know, rice is the main staple food for over 2 billion people in the world. Its main byproduct is called the rice straw, which is a plant left over when the seeds are taken out. And this is usually considered as no value, so people often dispose it through open burning. It's especially common in Asia, where 90% of the rice comes from. In my home country, Vietnam alone, every year, over 20 million tons of this straw get burned. I've grown up seeing my uncle, my aunts, my neighbors burning it everywhere, at the back of the house, on the rice field, and even on highways. This is posing serious problem for the environment and the health of the people in the country. Millions tons of toxic greenhouse gases get released as a result of this, and the fine particulate matter from the smoke can be inhaled deep into the lung, causing serious trouble for our respiratory system.
Fargreen has the sustainable solution to this problem. We contract with the farmers who divert the waste rice straw from burning and use it as a substrate to produce mushrooms. After the mushrooms are produced, the leftover straw is a good mulch to be recycled back into the fields as a biofertilizer. So if you see this carefully, you'll realize that this is a closed-loop production process. This is the central idea of Fargreen's business model, for it not only generates zero waste, but it also gives us the unique competitive advantage of producing mushrooms throughout the year. After the mushrooms are produced, they are processed and packaged in our processing center and then sold to the supermarkets in urban areas under the brand name of Fargreen.
We have the right people in place to make this happen. Both Tanmay and I, we are social entrepreneurs. We're getting our MBA by the end of this month from Colorado State University. And with 5 years of working experience in the international development sector in Vietnam, I'm bringing in strong connection and network to help build the company. Tanmay is bringing in 4 years of sales experience, and our third co-founder, Thuy, who's living in Vietnam right now, is a mushroom expert. She had her master in agricultural and biological engineering from Spain, and she's the one who behind the closed-loop model we have at Fargreen.
So let me now explain to you the mushroom production process from the perspective of farmer. So to explain you this, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of farmer Hoa, who happens to be Chang's neighbor here in Vietnam. So wait, let me put on the rice straw hat so that I look more like a farmer and less like a business guy. All right, so I'm farmer Hoa. I own a 4-acre rice farm, and I produce rice twice a year. It's the month of May, and I get a fresh harvest of rice straw from my fields. And as usual, I'm going to go and burn it, but with the help of Fargreen's team, I'm going to use it instead to divert for mushroom production. So from the month of May to July, I produce 50 kgs of rice straw mushroom. And when these are harvested, using the same straw, I produce oyster mushrooms. And the same production cycle, I repeated from the month of November onwards to May.
So there are 3 things here. First, traditionally, the only time that farmer Hoa makes money is in May and November when he harvests the rice and sells it. And now with Fargreen, we're bringing in 4 more cash crops to him and his family. And secondly, you can see the year-round mushroom production cycle at Fargreen. And what that means is that we will be able to offer a fresh supply of mushroom all year round as opposed to the seasonal offering of mushroom in the current market. And thirdly, mushroom cultivation, as you can see, legacy doesn't get into rice farming. And what that means is that Farmer Hoa can still continue doing rice farming with his family. And by joining Fargreen, we would have him and his family increase their current annual income up to 50%. Let's take a look at the market. Vietnamese people, we've been eating mushroom for centuries. The current value of the market is $19 million. It's flooded with unbranded mushroom, 90% coming from China and only 10% coming from small local producer. This is happening because our small mushroom farmers, they don't have enough capital to expand their production or to move their product outside of their own little village. So there's two problems here in the markets. The trust gap happened because people don't know which way to look at the quality of the mushroom that they are buying. What that means is that if you're in Vietnam and you pick up a package of mushroom, you don't know who produced the mushroom or how they are produced. The second problem is availability and the inconsistent supply of mushroom in the current market. This is due to the highly unorganized markets back there, and this makes it really difficult for supermarkets to meet the mushroom demand of their urban consumer. But this turns out a great opportunity for Fargreen to create our own niche markets or our own blue ocean for the branded and qualified mushroom that comes in high volume for our target customer, the supermarket, who will then bring our products to our target consumer, the middle to higher income population in urban areas.
Let's have a look at how much it costs us to produce these mushrooms and deliver to the market. For here, we have considered the example of processed straw mushroom. For this kind of mushroom, we spend about 40% on production, 30% on processing and packaging, and the rest 30% is spent on distribution, bringing the total cost to about $2 per kilo. We produce about two types of mushrooms, the straw mushroom and the oyster mushroom. Both are sold in fresh as well as processed forms. And in fact, these are in great demand, and the straw mushroom is a kind of delicacy there. The processed straw mushroom that I earlier gave you the breakdown cost for gives us a margin of about 56%, and overall, we have a margin of about 50% for all the products that we sell. Our growth plan is divided into 3 phases: build, scale, and take off. In the build phase, we build our first processing plant in northern Vietnam, creating a loyal base of customers there. For this, we need an investment of about $150,000, and we'll create a revenue of about $2.4 million at the end of 2017. In the scale phase, we scale our solution to central and southern Vietnam, building 2 more processing plants at each location respectively. We need an investment of about $500,000, and we'll create a revenue of close to $6 million at the end of 2019. In the takeoff phase, we'll take this solution to countries like India, where I come from, and who suffer from the similar problems of open rice straw burning. We also create social returns. These returns are like prevention of soil and air pollution, creation of sustainable employment for 1,000 farmers, getting them out of poverty.
So let's take a look what we have done so far to accomplish our goal plan. Currently, we already incorporated in both Vietnam and the US. We've got our concept validated with a successful production and sale pilot last summer in Vietnam. And we found out that retail consumers are willing to pay 20 to 30% premium to get our locally grown, high-quality, trusted mushroom over other alternatives in the market. And in fact, we're having a list of customers, including individual and restaurants, who are committed to buy our product. And what's more, we're already on our way to be fully funded for our first phase. We were able to raise up close to $40,000 by winning business plan competitions and fellowship. And we are currently a finalist in a 90-grand fellowship just for social entrepreneurs. And we are aiming at the $20,000 from Blue Ocean Challenge to help us reach our first capital goal of $150,000.
So this is the case of Fargreen. We need your help to build a great business which leaves a legacy of a better planet for our future generations to come. I'm Tanmay.
My name is Chad.
And together, we're ready to go far by going green.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Couple quick questions. One of the things that wasn't addressed is how are these mushrooms currently produced? And why is the rice straw a better substrate? Are you getting more efficiencies, or just cover that for a little bit?
Yeah, so the rice straw is a waste for these farmers, and it is currently being burnt in Vietnam. That's the problem that we are trying to address. And the question answering how these mushrooms are produced, so it's a decentralized production model where we contract with the small farmers, we lease a greenhouse for them, and they produce the mushrooms in that greenhouse for us, and we purchase it from them.
And this, to your point, is that actually there are a number of ways to grow mushroom. So that's why and the rice straw, growing mushroom and rice straw is just one of the medium that they're using. You can use even chemicals. That's the rumor going around with the Chinese products, and that's why like people are scared of them. And also you can grow them on sawdust and other medium as well. But what we found out was straw is that it's available in Vietnam and in a large quantity, and we can use this as a perfect medium for our mushroom, and also to help us to create a closed loop model when after we get out the mushroom and the leftover can be recycled back to the rice field as the biofertilizer.
Understood, but is it more efficient or less efficient as a substrate? Do you
It's,
lose efficiencies?
It depends on which type of mushroom that you produce. So we are producing the straw mushroom, which is a kind of delicacy in Vietnam, and that has to be grown on the rice straw. And we found out that we could grow the oyster mushroom after we get the straw mushroom out, because oyster mushroom is kind of very strong. They are strong mushroom and they can grow on that, so it adds up to the economic value of our business.
So they're a premium mushroom, so you will price your product premium to the other non-branded
Right.
mushrooms. Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm a little confused about the farmer. You show a compelling statistic that their income can go from $1,200 to $1,800. What incremental costs do they have to incur to generate that income?
So the cost that going to the farmer get into is that we provide them with the mushroom seed or the spawn, and also the greenhouse that helps them to grow mushroom, and also the mushroom that we sell is that in urban markets to the middle to higher income population, which we get the premium price out of that. So that's how when they put out their effort and their labor in growing mushroom with us, that's when they can grow their incomes.
Okay, but so they have no incremental cost to do this?
No.
Okay.
How much does it cost you to set up the greenhouse and distribution?
So each greenhouse we estimate is costs us about $500 per greenhouse, which is like that could process the straw we get from the 4-acre farm, which is the average farm size in Vietnam.
And distribution?
And I'm sorry.
I mean, you're distributing to supermarkets in Vietnam, correct?
Is in the urban areas. So the thing in the urban areas. So the thing about Vietnam is that everything is very close together. We are like really small country. We're like 1/3 of Texas or only, but we're having 90 million people. So it's unlike here. You're having the farm so separate from the city, but there we can get from the farm to the city just in 1 hour or so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So did this all start with just trying to solve the rice straw issue?
Yeah.
And so what other products did you look at, or what were some of the other opportunities that you evaluated and dismissed?
So there is, you could use this to generate biofuels, but it's a kind of a technology-heavy business, and it's still in the phase of development. It needs a lot of research and heavy investment. So that option was out. The other option was to use this as a compost. But then we realized that if we grow mushrooms, the byproduct itself is a compost. And we don't need to unnecessarily spend on it separately. So the aim was to solve this problem of air pollution because of rice straw burning. And then we saw what kind of solutions exist, and this was the best path we could choose.
Yeah, and the thing is that, we have the vision for the company. So you see that we have the very flexible business model when we have the mushroom, of course, and also the biofertilizer. So there's a strategy here. So we allow the farmer to use a biofertilizer so that we can test how effective is a biofertilizer. So later on, we can get it into our production and refine it and sell back to them, and then gradually help them to graduate from the regular farming to organic farming, so that we would be able to offer a bigger variety of produce to the market. So that the way that we're going in.
How'd you identify the mushroom growing expert?
I'm sorry.
How did you locate the mushroom growing expert, the woman on your team that can grow mushrooms?
Yes. So my friend Tui back home, she's actually from a farming community, and our pilots in the summer actually we did in our own farm. So in in the model that we want to franchise to individual farmers, so we grow it in our own backyard. It's the same size that we do, and then we kind of try to refine the process right now so that we can teach the farmer, and then we can replicate the procedure at their house.
So is the plan to build a plant and produce the mushrooms yourself, or to enable the farmer to produce the mushrooms?
So we are going to build greenhouses, small kinds, that will enable the farmers to produce mushrooms inside it. And what we are going to do is we are going to build a processing plant which can slice, clean, cut, and also dry and salt these mushrooms. So that's what we are going to do. We have saved the cost of building a huge production plant where we would have needed to divert all the straw that is available from the farms to our center and produce the mushrooms there. So that's the kind of capital cost we have avoided by having a decentralized production model.
And do the greenhouses require any power or water that the farmer needs access to?
Yes, and then we have that available in Vietnam, yeah. We get the country we right by the water. We having over 3,000 kilometers. I don't know how many miles. I can do the math right now, but by the beach. So yeah, it's really.
So what sort of returns does the business generate? The way you think about as a potential investor, a payback to get your money. How do you view the return on asset or return on equity? What's sort of your expectation there?
So what we're going to do is we are almost through to the first phase of funding needed. That's about $150,000. We're going to prove this model works for about 2 years and then take it step by step onwards from there.
Yeah, so when we get the cash positive in the 3rd year, and that when we will welcome all sort of option of investment. So, so that is kind of far off, and we wouldn't be able to, we wouldn't talk about that in after 2 years.
Okay.
What about labor to produce the mushrooms for the farmer? Will they provide the labor, or do they have the capital to hire additional labor to be able to produce the mushrooms?
So the farmer has a family of an average size of 5, and this is not a really labor-intensive process as compared to the rice farming. This is done on the sides, and all you need to do is water it once or twice a day, and your job is done.
Yeah.
So it's just similar to gardening processes that we do in our house.
On Shark Tank, they always bring some product to taste. Great job, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.